Good evening, everyone. We have a special speaker tonight. We thought that we were going to hear from someone else, but we have with us a Millionaire Club earner, a man who's been with the company for 22 years. He's written thousands of memberships. He's going to talk to us about some really special stuff tonight. Mr. Al Lewis, there you are. Welcome to our call. Mr. Lewis is from Wilburn Smith's team, and we just welcome you on to John Hoffman's call. Great to have you here.
Okay, is that an introduction?
You are there.
What? I want to introduce. Give me some more accolades.
You want me to keep telling all the wonderful things about you? We could take the whole call talking about how wonderful you are.
So, one thing they said, listening is a skill, but more importantly, with laughter is also a listening situation too. Again, my name is Al Lewis, and I was already mentioned by Jane. I really appreciate getting on the call tonight. And I tell you what, Mr. Hoffman, John Hoffman's wife, Darcy, I really appreciate them. And all the accolades. The accolades are good sometimes, but to tell you a little bit about myself and what happened to me just in 2009, one of the things is I'll show you why I have such a passion for not only membership but even getting your will done for me. So that was a big deal. Let me tell you what happened to me in 2009. I was doing a presentation in front of my team. I'm really a networker by mostly in the company, and I was doing a presentation on blast off. Something called blast off. Some of y'all remember we had blast off. It didn't work. It just blasted off, so to speak. And some of y'all wouldn't. If you don't know about blast off, don't worry about it. It didn't work out, and it was over with. But here's what happened. I was going through some situations, training my team on blast off, and I felt something go wrong in my head. Did not know, folks, that I was having a stroke, and I didn't know that my brain was bleeding at the time. I don't know if those folks. There could be some persons who are nurses or have a medical background, and they know what a hemorrhagic stroke is. Your brain actually starts bleeding, and when I looked around, I didn't know what was going on. One of the directors on my team grabbed me to say something wrong with Mr. Lewis. My cousin's a doctor. I recruited a doctor, and good thing he recognized what was happening at that time at the training. He said, "Call an ambulance. He's had a stroke." And what happened was I was rushed over to the hospital, and when I'm laying in the bed, I didn't know what was going on, but I noticed. I said, "Hey, why isn't my right side moving?" And it was the most weirdest thing I've seen in all my life. Maybe you know somebody who had a stroke and they haven't recovered in one way or another. But I'm laying on the bed, and the emergency room, had about 50 associates in there, and they may say, "Who is this guy who is in here? Is he some kind of athlete or celebrity or what? All these people." He said, "We can't have all these people in the emergency room." Well, of course, we're having a training, so everybody went over to the hospital just to see how I was doing. And I was sitting there. I was in critical condition. They didn't know if I was going to live or die. And my brain started to swell. And they told my wife who was there. They told my wife, she said, they told her at the emergency room, his brain is swelling. Is it okay? We may have to drill into his brain and release some of the pressure so he can live. So I actually didn't have to have brain drill into. And I continue on to look at myself and my arm. My arm was frozen. I couldn't open my hand. It was like this. I couldn't open my hand. And you may have seen people who had strokes who can't open their hands. And people say, well, what happened? Well, that was just part of it. And you see now, I gotta say I'm a praying man. So people who don't believe in God, that's one thing, but I'm a praying man. And so that was a big deal for me. And took me about 9 months after that. And then eventually I started moving a little better, and now I can almost dance now. So I feel pretty precious and blessed. But here's what I wanted to share with everybody tonight. I always share this, but I got to tell you my experience in the hospital. As I lay there on the bed, and I was in a hospital for 30 days. I want you to imagine that, being in the hospital for the entire month of October, trying to get yourself back together, trying to walk. I lost my speech. And it's amazing. I was thinking about all the people who have not got their wills done. That's where my passion comes. To make sure every member get their wills done. I'm gonna tell you something. Now, this is. I like to speak frank. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't care how much money you make, platinum, whatever. None of that matters when you're sick. None of it. It absolutely does not matter. And I don't know if you've been sick before. You don't care about money. You don't care about anything. All you care about is getting well, getting yourself back together. But I thought about what I had been doing all these years. It happened in 2009. I've been in since 2000 and 2002, 2009. I had the stroke. 2007, I went over $100,000 a year, and 2015 was inducted to the Millionaires Club. But again, all of that didn't matter if you're sick. And I want y'all to remember that. That's why, you have to, when it comes to passion, when you are going through something, you create a passion, and especially for the will. And what happened, I laid in the bed, I looked at, one of the things I asked, have I got my will done? That's an amazing thing to think about. Have I got my will done? That's really interesting. But that's thought about it. I was in critical condition. I didn't know I was going to live. Did I have that in place? Turns out I did have it in place. But when you have just think of a car wreck. My brain had a car wreck. All right? Just think of a car wreck, and it was like that. It's not straight. So my brain wasn't thinking right. I wasn't thinking right. I had did my will a while back. And here's something that I want to just share with you, everyone on the call. If you have not got your will done as an associate, shame on us. Shame on us if you haven't done it. Because as I lay there, and well, and I'm thinking about that, had I got it done, I'm thinking about that. So I'm going to encourage you, write that down somewhere. I must get my will done, because I do not know what will happen to me. Let me tell you, I was active. You could not have told me that I was going to have a stroke. You could not. You couldn't convince me that was it. In fact, let me just tell you this, I'm being transparent. I was feeling so good before the stroke that I was getting ready to cancel my health insurance, because I said, you know what, I'm paying $400 a month for the last 3 or 4 years. Whatever. I can go until I get. Had no idea I needed that health insurance. I needed it to take care of me during that situation. In fact, I had to call a law firm and that's while I was in the hospital. So I want y'all to make sure you write that down. Say, I must get my will done. That's so important. I can't tell you. And that's why that's why I have such a passion for it. Now, here's how Darcy and John, how we were in a car. They came to Chicago. And when they come to Chicago, they know they're gonna get with Al Lewis because I'm gonna take them out to eat. Because that's what I do. I'm if anybody comes to Chicago, I don't care if you're a Legal Shield associate and you say, hey, look, I'm the regional manager in Chicago. I say, hey, look, where you want to eat at? Because I know all the eating places everywhere. Everything, whatever you want to eat, Chicago has so much food. I mean, good food. So you all are invited. If you would like to come, just look me up. I'll be happy to show you some of the places around to do that. And so we was on our way to get something to eat. And one of the members called me with the mother on the line as well as the daughter. And they were thinking about not getting their will done. Thinking about it. Even though the will comes first. I mean, there's no charge, rather. It's there. And I said, and I am the wrong person to tell after what I had been through, hospital 30 days, they told me I was in critical condition, get rid of. Are you kidding me? I said, look, let me tell you something. And I didn't care one bit. And John and Darcy, they seen that. I didn't care at all what they thought. I said, you have this will and you're going to get this will done today. And I told my story. And a lot of the one thing about, especially associates, it just hurts my heart when I hear associates who haven't done got their wills done, because you don't know what's going to happen to you in the next 30 or 40 days. We don't. So I have a member in front of me, and I do the membership. You know what? Every member. Now I don't know if you do this or not, or can do it. Do you know every member that I sign up for the membership? Now I signed up 2 membership today. I'm a networker. I do their will at the time that I sign them up. Now people say, well, hasn't gone to the law firm. I don't care. I don't care. I say, you know what? It doesn't cost you anything. I say, you're getting your will done today. They say, well, I don't know. You're getting it done. And you know what? I make sure that every member of mine get their will done. And that's because of what happened to me. I tell my story. And John and Darcy, they heard that. They said, Al, you got to help our team to just see that, the value of that. Another thing I did, I don't know if you want to do this, but I'm going to tell you this. It may help you. So you write this down. It may be something that you might want to use. I went through the process of becoming a notary. Somebody said, well, why'd you become a notary, Mr. Lewis? Here's why I did it. Here's why I did it. Okay. When those wills came back, I would have them to have their folks come over who's going to witness me signing, their witness of signing. I'm there. All right. And once I get there with their folks, I just start shuffling papers around like this. You know the old deal. Not moving any papers, you just shuffling papers. But I want them to see that was an important thing. And in front of those people, they're witnesses that they have. Sometimes they have 3 or 2, depending on what state you are in. I make sure that those individuals watch the video before I notarize the will. And do you know some people sign up right there on the spot, getting their will done, being witnessed, because I'm the notary right there. Isn't that interesting? And when it comes to group, as a lot of people in group, I'm not a big group person, but I do have 30 groups, about 30. And this is why as I do network and I do group too. But here's the thing, I make sure the HR person, when I do a group, I make sure that I make a date to come back. You know what? To get my will done. Get there those members of that employee benefit place to get their will done. I won't allow it, because I remember my story. That's my passion for the membership because of what happened to me. Because anything can happen at any time for any one of us. I know I could talk about this all day long, but I will tell you this. I will tell you this, which is so important. Number one, make sure you get an update every year. Make sure you get your will update, because you never know what could happen. Any of us, I will guarantee any of us don't know exactly what's going to happen to us tomorrow. Get your will done. And number two, why don't you do this? Call your members tomorrow and ask a question. Say, Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, this is National Will Week. I was just wondering, have you got your will done? I'm telling you, I will guarantee you that you are going to get some referrals based on you just calling your members tomorrow and asking them, do they have their wills done? I've got so many referrals you would not believe. I'm in Performance Club 261 months. My persistency is really, really, really good. And that's the reason why, because I make sure that everybody gets their will done. And the reason why a lot of people cancel the membership, you know why? Because they don't have anything tangible. We don't give them anything tangible anymore. Nothing. But when I make sure I get their will done, they're getting some in the mail right away. They're getting the will in the mail, and you're getting that done. They love to do that. All right. Number three, if for some reason you want to, this is just a thought. Why not try that? If a notary, you will get more business. Now, you don't have to do it, but I'm telling you, that's what I do. I'm a notary because I've gotten so much business from people who need power of attorney, things like that. I say, you know what? I'd be glad to do it, but you have to become a member first. You have to become a member first. So, folks, I wish I could talk a little bit more about that. I could, but that's why I have my passion about the will. It's so important based on what happened to me. Folks, I hope you never, ever get in a situation like I did where I almost died. The good part, the residual income, the company paid me over $9,000 while I was in the hospital. I guarantee you can heal just a little bit better with that kind of income coming in. Would y'all agree? So folks, I know you only have a 30-minute call. I know you got to make some announcement, but I want to tell you this. Tell my story. Tell my story the people that you know. Tell my story to them, because facts tell, stories sell. You can't, I never sell a membership without telling the story, ever. I don't think it's been ever time I sold a membership without telling the story. Because you can't, you really, a lot of folks can't see the reason behind the membership a lot of time unless you tell them a story. So folks, I want to just say thank you. I appreciate you all. Those things I mentioned are so dear to me. The money doesn't matter with Legal Shield. The trips, none of that matters to me. What matters to me is helping our members get those things together, because the trips don't mean anything when you're sick. The money doesn't mean anything when you're sick. None of that. So make sure all your members, all your group members, to make sure they get their will done, and be adamant about it. Be passionate about it. And then and only then will you be able to take care of your members and never regret 1 minute. With that, Ms.
Wow.
So I want to just give it back to you. I know I talk a little bit too much.
No, you talk just right. Thank you so much. And as you were talking, I went and I just had my will done. These are all the documents. It's not just one piece of paper, folks. It's so many documents I have to go get notarized. And I had mine updated. And I'm going out now to Miss Lee Perry out of Evansville, Indiana. She has some stories for us from different members.
Thank you so much, Jane. And I'm excited that you asked me to host the stories, because one of my members contacted me today. She was so excited. She had talked to a company that was going to be doing her website and her CRM and her marketing. It was all fully integrated, and she was going to get this much service, and the price was like this. And then she turned around, and 2 months later, she was getting this much price and this much service. And she was really upset. And I said, well, did you have Legal Shield look at the contract before you signed it? She said, no. And I said, well, go ahead and send it up and see what they can do for you. And they wrote 2 letters. They canceled the contract. She got all of her money back. They saved her, she thinks, about $3,200. So I was thrilled to be able to share that with you all tonight. And I would like to now to go out to Karen Irish Borrego. I know she's got a great story for us as well.
Well, one of my employee benefits 3 times kept saying, I'm going to get my will done. And she called me from the hospital and said, I'm in the hospital. I need to get it done. And one mistake we made, I was helping her fill it out, and we were going to rush it through, and her nieces came. And she decided to give it to her nieces, and they never got it down to the law firm. And I also had an associate that said, oh, that's superstitious. And he just gone through divorce, and he died 3 months later. And the story of my is, but I've updated mine 5.
Oh, Karen, excuse me. I accidentally muted you trying to mute someone else.
Okay. I've updated mine 5 times, because you can with Legal Shield. You can do it every single year. If something changes, get it done. And it's amazing.
Thank you so much, Karen. I live at an assisted living facility now. My husband has some memory issues, and I'm always chatting with the other folks who live here. And it's amazing when I share with them that if the kids make them mad this year, they can write them out. And then when they get back in their good graces, they can write them back in next year, and it never costs them a cent to get it done. All right. And I think Gwyneth Lewis has a story for us as well. Gwyneth?
I do. Hi, everybody. I have a story about somebody who did not get a will. He was 18 years old, and he was run into by a semi, and he died. There was a big payout of $1 million. He did not have a will, and so that $1 million got split between his 2 parents. Now, one of his parents had left him when he was 2 years old, and the other one had raised him with no parental, money from the other parent, no support, etc. However, because of the law, both parents got half of the payout. I find that very troubling. And so I tell people that. And with business owners, one of the things that's happened with us is the last 3 years, people have been going into the hospital. I've been going to emergency rooms about 5 times when I've talked to a nurse on the nurse line who said, oh, you gotta, this is an emergency, you gotta go take care of something. And so it was life-threatening. It wasn't, and I got misdiagnosed, but who would run my business if I didn't have a will? Because what comes with your will is not only what happens after you die, but planning with powers of attorney about who's going to make decisions if you're all chewed up and not able to make any decisions. So it's not if, it's when for all of us. So I urge you all to join us and get them done. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gwyneth. And I believe that Teresa Johnson also has something that she wants to share.
You're muted.
Thank you very much for allowing me to share. What I wanted to say was I had a close friend of mine who had her mother needed to get her will done. And so she asked me, would I reach out to her, which I did, but I kept trying to get in touch with her. And, she kept putting me off. Mother died. Daughter kept asking me, did she get her will done? No, we could never connect. The problem is, when her mother passed away, she had a very large amount of money in the bank, lots of real estate and investment. And now her 4 children are fighting. They're not even speaking to her. It is the biggest mess. And the sad part about it is that they will not recoup 100% of what she really would have wanted them to have because they didn't have a will. So the state's going to get a portion of that. So back over to you.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate all these cautionary tales because we can all use these as we share with our prospects and our members and urge them to go ahead and get all of their documents done, not just their will. All right. Thank you all so much for sharing. And now I think Annette Zobar is going to wrap us up and take us home. Annette.
Wow, what a absolutely great Zoom tonight. Mr. Lewis, thank you so much. I was blessed for living in the Chicago area for many years when I first got started with Legal Shield and heard lots of stories from you. So I'm glad I heard another one. And those stories were amazing. So thank you for that. Next week, we have another special guest. Watch your email for an announcement on who that is and their biography. And make sure your team is on and you're on, and we can get inspired and also learn. So thank you all for joining us and have a rest of a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. Have a
Bye-bye.
great night.
For the stories.
Thanks for
Wonderful.
sharing, Al.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Coming out. Bless you. Good night.
Great information, man.